Hi, and welcome back to Hi, my name is Alex. This channel here is basically playing on the idea that all the things we've been seeing on the internet lately, there's been a sudden boom of more authentic old school style, just a guy or girl in front of a camera talking about their life and everything in between and so forth. I want to prove myself in the next 2 months. I'm going to do this for 2 months and see how consistently I can pull this off, and also, can I do the same thing too? Can anyone do this? And I believe the answer is yes. So if you are going to help me out, and if you really want to do, I would really like if you guys subscribe, leave a like, whatever you want down below, because that's going to help this project to work or not work. We'll see how it goes. And yes, I'm well aware we've got the YouTube algorithm to worry about and all the other nitty-gritty things inside. But for the meantime, my goal is, and this challenge to myself is in the next 2 months, to see that if anyone can just jump online, create a new channel, start from scratch, and go viral, or if not go viral, maybe hit monetization. Let's see. This is my trump to see I can do this. So I want to let you know a little bit about myself. This channel is all about myself, my experiences, the things that I do, just everything in every bit of life, and see where it hits, right? And if you are joining and kind of following my journey and hearing my stories, thank you very much. So this challenge here is very simple. I'm going to try to produce 3 videos every week for the next 2 months solid, consistently. I'll be talking about anything or anything that comes to mind, and I want to challenge YouTube to see if someone random with no experience and just jumping in and giving this a go. That's my part of life. And I'm in the category of those that are from 35 and over. And if you are watching it, I want to let you know that this is achievable, but let's see if it's possible. And even when this challenge, if it fails or doesn't fail, I'll still continue this just to see that, every bit of life, and just to share my general ideas or things that come to mind to better voice it. Now, hopefully my video and my audio comes out clear, and if you happen to put a message down below, let me know. I would appreciate that. It just lets me know I'm going in the right direction. Now, I'm just your general office worker. I would hustle my ass off. I would work several jobs in a row if I need be. I've got a small child and a wife that doesn't work. So everything comes to me. I'm basically the breadwinner of my family. And I do hope that YouTube can be a possible side hustle for me to make some extra income, so then I can, know that there's what you call the evergreen pastors, as I've been hearing a lot on YouTube, where basically this is, what that actually means is passive income. Basically, your videos can constantly, consistently generate income for you, even when you don't see it later. But of course, you have to hit monetization first, which is at the moment in 2025 is 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours in 365 days. And how you achieve that would vary on based on what you're trying to talk about. And so I'm going to take this challenge for myself. I'm just whacking out my camera right now, filming myself as I talk about life in general, and letting you know this is the challenge that I'll be dealing with myself on a personal level. Now, in saying this as well, yes, I'll just dive in a little bit so you know a little bit more about me in total. Basically, as I said before, I am your general office worker. The work that I do, I'm an AV events coordinator, which means audio-visual coordinator. My background actually is an audiovisual technician. I work for NAB, for the National Australian Bank, and I've worked in a lot of different bank sectors. That's in insurance, that tends to be the areas I'm into, but not dealing with the banking side, more of the AV side. So I deal with all the equipment, Zoom rooms, the gear in general, filming, and events coordinating with people. So that's my little background myself, but it's draining and the hours are long. It's not just 9 to 5. Sometimes I'm doing long hours, like doing 10 hours or 12 hours, give or take. And for a long part of my life, everything I did was contractual work. And as you girls and guys are well aware, that contractual work can vary from time to time. It can mean from doing working on a job for 3 or 5 years, and then you can be laid off at any time, based on your contract rules. And I was lucky enough that every contract work that I did, I've always maintained my ties and I kept on going, but I always left my jobs because I left my job, not because I was fired, not because of any reason down below, but and my experience was always valid, and I grew into my industry. Now, with all honesty, when growing up, my personal life story on the other end, when I finished school, I actually studied a bachelor's and master's into human resources, and I did graduated, and I did quite well in that, but only thing was when I actually finished and graduated, it was during the financial crisis, and that kind of hit me hard. And for those who know the financial crisis, it was one of those periods where it was actually very difficult to find work in this day and age. Now, for those who don't know, I live in Australia, Sydney. It's considered one of the most expensive countries in the world, and frankly, it's getting harder and harder to rent, to buy, unless you're a trust fund baby, and I was not one of those. So I'm grinding and I'm hustling and I'm working hard for my family and myself, because aren't we all trying to do the same? And when I graduated, I pretty much, graduated with my degree and I had it in hand, my master's, it meant nothing. It meant nothing because in the financial crisis, what work was there available? I spent close to a year with no work. And I was doing every job under the sun you can name. I was cleaning, I was doing dishes, I was working the odd jobs, retail, you name it. I did every odd job to make and had ends meet, and my child was on his way. And so I was struggling, like many of you would experience and gone through this. This is something that we had to deal with, and it was hard. It was really hard. And then I met a friend of mine. So I was working in the casino at the time. It's those who are aware of it, it was called the Star City Casino at the time, not the Star, which is called now. For those who don't know, and I was working as a waiter. When I was down there, I met a friend who was working in facilities for the National Australian Bank at the MLC building at the time, and he gave me the opportunity to work in facilities. And facilities, in the common term, you can put it down to as being like a mother to a building. You take care of every infrastructure of the building, ins and outs, the people, and the building itself. And from there, I actually picked up a lot of skills to really put my stepping grounds in the facility sides. And that was fun. The pay wasn't excellent, but it was more than I kind of needed at the time. And I had to grow even further. And from that, I used that to kind of climb up and said, you know what, this is something I could try out. And, my degree is useless at this time period. Work is work. I need the money. And a lot of you would have been in the same boat. We just needed that money, especially at that time crunch period. And so when I grew into it, it actually built a lot of skills for me. Instead of approaching it in the sense of like, you know what, this is my only job, no, I looked at every aspect. So how do you do that? So this also goes for those who are younger and watching this channel. If you are in the smaller part, you need to look at ways to improve yourself in every way possible. So your resume is your face, right? That's one important thing. So I talk to those who are sitting in a bigger position or earning more than me and just see their resumes. You just become friends, you just talk to them and take a look. That is a building block to building your profile, because that's all the employer is going to see when they hire you. That's just the reality of it, right? And then here's the next part of it. What other skills can you pick up when you're in that industry? You may not have any skills in those areas, but it's not like people won't teach it or talk about it or show you how their journey of getting to where they need to be. So what do? The idea is simple. You look around yourself. You go, okay, I didn't fail in this area, but I can't succeed in this space because there's no work available at this time. So now I'm working in this job, facilities, or whatever job you may be. What more can I do around myself and taking advantage of that? What more can I do around myself that I can pick up so I can gain real skills so that I can apply to myself to look for work? Okay, so what I did at that time, at that age, fresh out of uni, out of work for about close to a year and doing odd jobs, I said, I gotta get more. I need to do more because my kid is coming. And so I said to myself, what do I need to do? So I looked around all the other jobs around me, those who did zip units, those who worked in admin, those who worked in security, those who were EAs and PAs. I talked to all of them, all bits that I could talk to, which I didn't offend or climb over their work, but to be able to talk to them on a face-to-face and look, this is my situation. And I think what you're doing is great. And can you teach me what you did to get in there? Sometimes it's just that talk that you need to have with someone to engage that first conversation. And that first is your first building blocks to get you somewhere in life. And I use that as my fundamentals to build myself. I built my profile up by that, and I increased myself on Seek. It became more a professional look. I was starting to get more calls from recruitment companies and agencies. My resume looked more professional overall. I applied for almost all aspects of jobs in life that I thought was more higher than the current job that I was doing. And I was actually starting to climb. And then I realized that I could do more. When I finally put down my resume, not my resume, but just my resignation, sorry about that, the workplace wanted to offer me more, but during contractual work and what I was doing, it just wasn't paying enough. And also one thing is that you can't let life, and especially the jobs you're doing, pay you under the minimum wage. Now, what a lot of organizations do a lot is they pay you under that organizational wage. And how you pinpoint that? It's very simple. You look at how much you're getting in the contractual work that you're doing, or full-time work, it doesn't matter. And then you look online of the type of jobs that are out there, and then you can see what they're offering. That's the wage line that you should be putting yourself on. That's the basic wage line. And sometimes you're going to find that you're being underpaid and undermined as a person without even realizing it. Do not ever undermine yourself. Do never allow yourself to be less than the person you should be, because you deserve more, okay? You do deserve more. You don't deserve to be abused. You don't deserve to be pushed around. You don't deserve to be treated in that sense. You deserve more. And I use that as a building block to find more work, and then I start on my journey from there. Anyway, I want to keep this short and simple, as like I said before, this is the first episode basically, and also where I'm heading. I have a 2-month challenge ahead of me, and I hope you guys do journey with me as I talk about all aspects of life, stories I have to share. They're all going to vary in different ways, and self-development. Anyway, as overall, thank you for joining, and this is Hi, my name is Alex. See you again next episode. Bye now.